Hey, why it is Damn Cam here, hitting you with some damn talk. Free speech, from actor to activist. Zuckerberg for president 2028. The widening economic divide and why preserving free speech on the internet is invaluable to the survival of individualism. Now, it's much easier for me to present this information as I read it, so I apologize for the format. There seems to be a huge shift from acting to activism. Not that this is entirely a bad thing. Some actors are known to have had a profound impact in different sections of the cultural sphere. Ashton Kutcher is a great example of one using their fame and consequent resources in order to further advance specific humanitarian causes. Human trafficking is where Kelso has focused his efforts, and Mr. Kutcher's impact is clearly portrayed and available for all to see in multiple documentaries. Actors aren't the only groups to be making this transition. No, they don't need hormone blockers. It's not that kind of transition. From musicians to artists, comedians to sports figures and TV personalities. It's nothing new for folks to undergo an industry lull or for certain individuals to experience a break in their own career. What is most definitely new is the internet and social media platforms, which we're thinking are partially to blame for the influx of factivism. That's our acronym for false activism, factivism. Initially, this increase in humanitarian efforts by industry stars registered as good news. I mean, how could more help possibly hurt? The sad fact is, there hasn't been a traceable increase in the amount of donations to the top 5 most renowned charities in America, though this is admittedly only one rather vague measurable variable. Monetarily speaking, things haven't changed all that much, just because some famous people began to talk about contributing to society as a whole. Interestingly, those with the most resources to tackle our country's fundamentals can be found either in big tech, big pharma, or the federal government. So what is happening? We've noticed one major shift transpiring from this process. The airwaves are becoming more and more polluted. With so many people starting podcasts, so many new media outlets, though we sure are glad you found Damn Talk. The news cycle has become so vast and so diverse that it becomes increasingly difficult to separate the fake news from the facts. Not to negate the incredible channels, brands, and stations with all their shakers, movers, shapers, and molders, we believe many of these alternative sources are echoing each other. This is why our voice is your voice. We may not present much outside of our interviews that you don't already know. We're critically thinking about the issues that you've brought to us, and we're amplifying the message. Too often, stories are covered so quickly that it rarely allows for any chance of a follow-up. Something that we at DTDJO believe is extremely important, for how else can we monitor the efficiency of our co-created ideas playing out in the real world? The mainstream news, along with big tech, is the biggest contributor to the propaganda machine. With a tendency to focus on breaking news motivated by generating engagements and increasing viewership, the main television news staples are propelled by the wheels of manipulation and are funded by the same 2 biggest corporations in the world. That's right, every media station that's a huge player in the game is owned by the same 2 companies. So that's BlackRock and Vanguard. It's no mystery why cable access media has earned its place in the lives of many a generation. Well, that is until now. We don't claim to be activists, factivists, or even hacktivists, though we can't speak for the entirety of the DaamnTalk community. It's true, we've done a fair amount of work behind the scenes in parts of Washington state, from creating community meetings discussing unproductive law enforcement officials, to joining the Recovery Alliance in Olympia and speaking with members of Congress attempting to get them to delegate more aid to our nation's drug epidemic. That is one example of that's just one example of how the current situation is propelling in a direction that we essentially don't have much control over. But it's also one example of a time that we were able to successfully petition an organization, as 2 of the 3 bills that we were fighting for ultimately passed, resulting in insurance companies no longer being allowed to immediately deny an addict entry into an inpatient facility. Essentially, we helped eliminate the 2-week gap in the time that one requests treatment from the time that they're actually considered eligible to go to treatment. Now, 2 weeks is often life or death for those who are dangerously dependent, both physically and mentally, on drugs or alcohol. We also took part in many demonstrations in the city of Seattle, from the Obama era of 2012 to our first presidential campaign collaboration in 2016. Speaking to crowds about addiction and homelessness at Studio 7, which we're told is no longer there, performing spoken word and conscious hip-hop at the Seattle Hemp Fest, it's fair to say that the majority of what we've accomplished was not strictly because our hearts were filled with love and joy. A fair majority of our work over the course of our performing and recording career has been selfish, an attempt to advance the brand. In fact, we look thrice at one who's in a similar position that claims any different. That is, until we directed our passion towards DaamnTalk.c. Beginning as a part-time side project back in 2016, we set out to create an alternative source for heavy, hot-button issues. DaamnTalk is much more than the Daily Damn, short clips of missed news and diff views. DaamnTalk.c is even more than a podcast of curious characters, controversial content. We're much more than another source of trustworthy information, but we are a source of trustworthy information, more than a channel designed to get us to contemplate and create dialogue, a platform protected by a paywall, free of unnecessary algorithms, censorship, discrimination, and shadow banning, a place where we don't have to type in fear. A community for people of all walks to come together and openly discuss or debate the issues that matter. DaamnTalk, Don't Just Obey, is an alternative to any frustration you've experienced while on Twitter, Discord, Truth Social, or while steadily submerged in the Book of Faces. The following excerpt was taken directly from the DaamnTalk mission statement. The year was 2021. Fed up with the modern-day book burnings within the Book of Faces, and after having been shadow banned more than Alex Jones had been regular banned, seeing the free web's looming collapse into a privatization of information, a select group of truth seekers and ledge walkers decided enough was enough. From everywhere they flocked to contribute to DaamnTalk. Free theorists, revolutionaries, conspiracy theorists, free thinkers, philosophers, activists, occultists, and everyone in between and outside the norm, banding together as teachers and students alike, all attempting to lighten the load, share the pain, shed the light, swap the surface, and chase the truth. Free speech is under threat. Here at DaamnTalk, we believe it's in the creating of a discussion that one can find the unasked answers. For example, though our community collectively exercises our First Amendment rights on the regular, DaamnTalk has its own community standards, and breaking them is grounds for dismissal. However, in order to not tolerate hate speech, we must be able to talk about what constitutes said hate speech. This means exploring topics that are generally avoided at our dinner tables and in Washington, D.C. If we're going to limit the constitutional freedom to speak openly, there better be a damn good reason for it. Like, say, shouting fire in a crowded building, or yelling bomb while boarding an airplane. It's imperative that we pay attention to how people in positions of power and authority approach the subjects of free speech, gender ideology, homelessness, and racism. Canadians learned this lesson the hard way, as they've had to be cautious with their pronouns due to speech having gone from offensive to illegal between 2018 and 2020. Western society's compelled speech clause is one that we will fight tooth and nail. We've absolutely no problem accommodating different personalities and genders. If one asked us to refer to them as she or he or they or like ourselves, we we would almost always readily comply, but to make it a crime to not use the preferred pronoun, not even the proper pronoun, the preferred pronoun, is to create a scenario where mistakenly addressing someone by the opposite gender is punishable by law. No damn way. Hence, our point is this. To have these discussions is to allow the potential for one's viewpoints and values to be threatened. To not have these discussions is to allow the dismissal of an idea to precede its presentation. That is a way to abandon any inherent discussion. That amount of power is a far more threatening prospect. Social media has become increasingly more culturally and politically influential and divisive. We've been facing a major decision on 3 levels: as private citizens to agree to the terms of service, as people, groups of consumers, to negotiate what terms of service are fair, and finally as a governing body. I'd make the argument that the second decision was made despite a discussion never properly happening, and now that it looks like Facebook isn't going anywhere, despite a swarm of lawsuits and investigations into criminal activity dating back to when they unlawfully ran their competitors out of business. We are all profiles trapped in a non-negotiable agreement. Consequences of this have already wreaked havoc on accounts, on people of all types and all genders. As a collective, we've handed over virtually unlimited access to our personal information. This is exactly why we've been working on an alternative, more protected platform. That can be found at www.DaamnTalk.com. Also, a community protected by a paywall, so free speech is on and censorship is not. That can be found at locals.com in that damn talk spot, DTDJO. The third and final decision is one that is actually still in the making. Exactly what role does the federal government play? This is why it's of the utmost importance now that we get the discussion going before the decisions are made. Some of those same people we've chosen to represent us would rather dismiss us on grounds our proposed converse session is too controversial. This is a way of keeping us in the dark without having to openly address the margin for error and invitation to corruption that's definitely probable when any one private organization has as much power as the federal government. Pixel power of the past, its influence pales in comparison to anything other than a reflection of another money-making machine, comparable to the Industrial Revolution. If we begin to converse, it threatens the potential for profit. Rather than transparency, a shortcut of sorts has been exploited in the shadows of current affairs. As opposed to establishing regulations in the open exchange of opinions, we, the fully present, able-bodied, free-thinking citizenry, are allowing the isolation and digital deportation of anyone with a differing viewpoint. As we've mentioned, DaamnTalk has our own comm stands, and violating these is grounds for immediate expulsion from DaamnTalk. You promote violence, we reserve the right to essentially throw you out the front door. This is in opposition to the deportation of an individual, group, or idea out of an entire country. Shout out Snowden. We'll talk to all walks and offer the chance to have a voice, providing they're speaking their truth. History may be written by the victors, but it won't be taught by an uninformed, passive type. Like almost everything, the dialogue will go on with or without the contribution from the essential voices that really matter in this new normal. Yours, hers, his, ours. Share your damn voice. We put facts before folks, principles before personalities. If it matters to you, it's matter we want to share. If they matter to you, they'll matter to us. Spread the damn word. We're looking for everything damn worthy. No approvals of any outside content. However, anything intellectually stunning, mind-blowing, game-changing, underreported, misrepresented, or downright untrue, bring it our way and potentially feature on an episode. We promise to say whatever we damn well mean, We promise to defend your rights to the same and to disagree. Damn Talk is primarily a podcast, short episodic videos highlighting intriguing happenings on a semi-regular basis. It's also a community held at locals.com. So what do we talk about? Anything, everything, even a little and nothing. Our motto is people precede information, because we feel it's the individual that has limitless potential. That's not to say we'll hold some higher than others. We believe it's the what that's being discussed that's more important than who is doing the discussing. Apply to feature on the show and join us as we deliver the viewers notable content in a simple, fast-paced, fun format. Nothing's off limits. We're talking content that stands out during this wildly wacky, exhilaratingly exciting, admittedly frightening age of politically dividing attention span deficit TikTok timing. Thanks for listening. We're looking forward to talking with you soon. DAAMN Talk.
This isn't just another song about a struggle, about the single moms raising kids and working doubles, about the fathers walking out while thinking that it's subtle and leave their children so the streets will teach them how to hustle, about the schoolgirls bullied with no motivation, none to deal with their teachers who don't have the patience, about your neighbors who can't afford their mortgage payments to pay the paper chasing chip stacking corporations, about the cops who've forgotten what their job is, thinking they're above the law and they're flawless. This ain't about the politicians, who the hell cares about the people used to living off the welfare, about our sons and our daughters who no longer breathing cause they sent them over waters for no fucking reason. This ain't about another ransom for the heartless. This is me trying to shout an anthem we can march with.
I look at my reflection in the mirror.
Take a look at my reflection.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Got no goddamn protection.
Losing my mind on a tiny error.
Feel I'm losing my connection.
I nearly left the real me on the shelf.
I need to find a direction. This isn't just another track talking about the trouble from the top 1% busy flexing muscle. While they break our back, we work to break a sweat to pay the cost of our existence, earn a decent check. This ain't about the human race and who can go the farthest. It's about the human waste, oceans filled with garbage. This ain't about a bigger piece of the pie, but the people who got nothing but a reason to cry. About the potential that's lost to the use of drugs, cause no one ever taught them about a cause or how to love. This ain't about the false promise of heaven above, but the hell created when thinking we don't have enough. Giving into fear, greed, jealousy, and lust. This isn't just another piece of art for your amusement. This is what connects our hearts. It is more than music. We can shout it as we march and we'll start a movement.
I look at my reflection in the mirror.
As we look at our reflection,
Why am I doing this to myself?
we see our protection.
Losing my mind on a tiny error.
Can we make the connection
I nearly left the real me on the shelf.
to find our direction? We the people need to look into the mirror now more than ever. We need to rise up together, speak out and march for what we believe in. If we continue to stay divided against injustice, then we've lost all reason and we are bound to remain nothing more than pawns in their political games.
The future is there for us to seize, but we've got to seize it. And if we do, then I guarantee you, I agree with you. Although, why don't I talk about it later? Because I'm just about to finish. You and me, we'll talk about it. All right, I'm going to be coming around. There you go. I agree with you. I want to hear from you. I love you back. You kind of screwed up my ending, but that's okay.